Hello and welcome. Today we are going to learn how to build a local business directory to sync API data to Webflow with no code. And building a local business directory that updates itself is simpler than you think. Today I'm going to show you how to create an auto-updating climbing gym website using simple no-code tools. So we're going to walk through connecting live business data to your website using Airtable as the database and Webflow for the front end. While we're using climbing gyms as our example, you can of course adapt this approach for any type of directory, from co-working spaces to remote jobs. So for this tutorial today, we are going to use Rapid API for local business data. We're going to use Airtable as our database and the data fetcher extension to automate API imports. Then we'll be using Webflow for the website and then also WhaleSync to connect Airtable to Webflow. So whether you're building a niche local guide or planning to scale across multiple cities, this approach lets you focus on growing your directory rather than updating it. So in order to begin, we first need to set up our data source. So we'll be using Rapid AI to access local business information, which we'll then store and manage in Airtable. So in order to begin, we're going to head over to rapidapi.com and create a free account. Once you've signed up, find a local business data API in the API marketplace. So there is one that we recommend, and you can find this on the datafetcher.com website on this exact blog topic. And you'll see this under the Getting Started with Rapid API on point 2. So you can simply click this to open the local business data API that we recommend. So now you're going to want to subscribe to the API. You can do this by clicking into these subscription options, and the free tier does give you 500 business results per month, which should be enough to follow this tutorial, although you can upgrade to a paid plan for more. So we'll just go ahead and select the subscribe button. Then you'll be able to find your Rapid API key here. So take a note of this, and then we're going to see this in the sample request documentation for any API. Now we'll head back over to our Airtable base, and I have already set this up, so I'm going to run you through this. We're going to want to set up our database to store both cities and climbing gyms. So we'll start with two separate tables. As you can see, this is what I've done here. Under the cities table, all you're going to want to do is create one single field here with the title name, and this is a single line text type. Then you're going to input your city names, and we have some examples of this on our datafetcher.com blog. Then once you've done that, we're going to create the new table and title this as gyms. Then we're going to have name as the first field with single line text. So the second field will read as city, and from this drop down menu, you want to select link to another record. Then select cities for that table. Now this is why you will now see in the cities table, we now have this gyms field that was not previously created that appears automatically here now. We'll head back over to our gyms table, and for the following, we have the address. This is a single line text from that drop down menu. Then for phone, this is phone number from the type like so. And for website, we select URL, then select save. Perfect. Now it's time to install our data fetcher extension. So in order to do this, we want to head over to the right hand corner where we see extensions, open that up, select add an extension. And now in the top right hand corner, you can search for data fetcher. Really nice and simple. So that will pop up. We select add extension, and the following screen will load. Here you can either create a free data fetcher account, or you can simply continue with Google. And now we select create your first request. Under the application, we're going to select custom, and then for the URL, you can head over back to that blog that I mentioned earlier, and you can just go ahead and copy this URL, pasting it into our URL input box here. So notice here that the limit equals 100, and this parameter ensures you get comprehensive results for each city. Then for the query URL parameter, we're going to want to add a space after rock climbing gyms in, and then add a space here. Then select the plus icon on the right. In this pop-up window, we want to select table, and from here we're going to select cities. Then for field, we want to select name. Then for run for every record in view, we want to have this selected as grid view. Now select confirm. The query parameter in the URL will now have a reference to the name field in our cities, as you can see here. Now we're going to click on the headers tab just over to the right hand side, and we are going to add the following information from that blog post that I've already mentioned. mentioned. So we are currently on this step and we're going to copy over this information and paste it into the header right here. Then we'll take this local business data.p.rapidapi.com information, remove that colon and paste this into the value. Then we're going to add a second line in here and we're going to take the following piece of information, just this rapid API-key info, and paste it in here again without the colon, and for the value we're going to input our own key like so. So once you have your rapid API key inputted, we are then going to double check that the output table and view reads as gyms for the table and grid view for the view, and then we're going to retitle this request to fetch gyms for city, just like so. Then we're going to select save and run in the bottom right hand corner. As you can see, these fields are now being created. Now we'll arrive at the response field mapping screen, and this is where we can decide which fields we would like to have imported into our Airtable base. As you can see, 10 fields will be created, so those have all been checked like so, but we only need to bring in a few of these fields. So we're going to select the button up here on the right hand side, deselect all, and then we're going to add the following. We want to search for name, turn this on and map this to the existing field, and from that drop down menu you want to have name selected. Then we're going to search for address. Here it is, and we are going to map this to a new field and have this titled as address. Then for the website, we're going to search this as well in that search input box, select website, have this mapping to a new field as well. And then for photos, we are wanting to choose photos, sample, photo, URL. So just this one here. We'll turn this on and also map this to the new field and have this titled as photo. And then we're going to search for business ID, mapping this to the new field and leave this as business ID as well. Perfect. Now on the response field mapping screen, we're going to want to open up this sidebar setting. It's right next to that search input box. So we'll select this, and this allows us to choose the advanced settings. We want to go down until we see update based on fields. And from this drop down menu, we're going to select business ID. This helps avoid duplicates by matching existing records. Then we're going to scroll down until we see the add fixed value option, and under this field we're going to select city. This maintains the connection to your cities table. Then we're going to select save and run in the bottom right hand corner, and this will import gyms for all of our cities. Now we can select show output table. Okay, so we'll arrive back to our Airtable, and as you can see, all of this information has automatically been imported into our base. So now if we did want to set up automated updates, we could do that using the data fetcher schedule feature. And you can do this simply by opening your extensions up again to get back to that data fetcher extension that we have already created. Will be brought directly back to our request. And we can scroll down and then you can see this schedule feature. Now this is a paid data fetcher plan. So if you haven't yet upgraded to a paid data fetcher account, I really recommend that you do so that you have access to all of these different tools here. Then once you have that added, you can set up your preferred update frequency so that your Airtable base will stay updated automatically without you having to do a thing. So we're going to head back to our Airtable base, and we are wanting to now build our Webflow site. So we'll head over to our Webflow, and we're going to create a simple directory website with a homepage showing all gyms and individual pages for each location. So you're going to want to set up collections. In order to do this, create a new Webflow site and then go to the CMS panel just here in the top left hand corner. And you'll want to create 2 collections. As you can see, I have done that just like so, adding fields for all of those that we have in our Airtable base. So here we have cities, and then here we have gyms under the CMS collections, and like I've just said, we have those fields that are also in our Airtable base. So if you are unsure about how Webflow works, you can always head over to our blog on the datafetcher.com website, where we do have more information on how to build the homepage and create the gym template. So once you've done that and you have your Webflow website published, we're going to now connect our Airtable base to Webflow with WhaleSync. So WhaleSync acts as a bridge between Airtable and Webflow, ensuring any changes in your Airtable base are automatically reflected on your website. So when DataFetcher updates your Airtable database with new gyms, WhaleSync will push those changes to your Webflow site in real time. So in order to begin, we are going to need to sign up for our Whale Sync account and create a new sync. So we're going to go ahead and get started up here in the right-hand corner. Now, once you've signed up, you'll select New Sync. And now we're going to connect our accounts. So choose Airtable as the first data source. So we'll select this connect data source. And then from the app, we are simply going to search for Airtable, just like so. Select authorize, paste in your base sharing link and select authorize. Now WhaleSync is requesting Airtable access, so select add a base and then select all current and future bases in all current and future workspaces so that we only have to do this one time. Alternatively, you can just choose your base from there that we will be using for this tutorial. Select grant access. Now we'll select save connection, and then for the second data source, we're going to choose Webflow. So here we can just search for it like so, select that and select authorize. So we're going to choose the workspace that we'd like to give access to and select Authorize App. Now select Save Connection. Here you can title this and we're going to go ahead and select Continue. And now it's time to map your city's table. So over to the right-hand side, you'll see this Add Table Mappings button. Then for the cities table, we're going to select Create Table Mapping. So here we have our source as the Airtable cities, mapping to the destination of the Webflow cities, and we have the name mapping to the name fields. Now we're going to add a new table mapping. So you'll see this over to the left-hand side, select that plus button, and we're going to select the gyms table mapping. Just click this button and select Create Table Mapping and map the following fields. So this just pops up automatically. We'll select Auto Map 5 fields. So here we have the following that has automatically mapped. We have the name mapping to the name, the address mapping to the address, the city mapping to the city, the photo mapping to the photo, and the website mapping to the website. Now, if you did create any sample collection items in the Webflow CMS, you need to delete all of those now because we only want the real local business data from Airtable. If you needed to do that, once you come back to this step, we can now perform the initial sync and then activate the sync. So we're going to select Save and Exit here. And now we can select the Prepare Initial Sync button. Select Scan Records, select Continue, and then again, you can select Continue. These records are now being synced. So as you can see, this initial sync has been completed. We're going to select Continue and then select View Sync. Perfect. Webflow automatically generates SEO-friendly URLs for each gym page. You can customize these in the gym section settings if needed. So now we can head back to Webflow where we see our website and we can select the Publish button here, turn that staging on and select Publish to selected domains. And as you can see, this is now publishing. We can then open this up in a new window and this is where our site will appear. Now, if we head back to that CMS collections, you can now see that we have these 10 published items here and also 212 items under the gyms that we have just incorporated using Data Fetcher and WhaleSync. So hopefully today you have learned how to build a local business directory and how to sync API data to Webflow with no code using the Data Fetcher extension and WhaleSync. So you now have a fully automated directory that fetches fresh business data via API, stores and organizes it in Airtable, and automatically updates your Webflow site with pages for each location, as well as maintaining itself with minimal ongoing work. But if you do still have any questions on this, you can always reach out to us here at the datafetcher.com website, where we also have a full-length blog on this exact topic for you to learn that way as well. Thank you so much for taking the time to learn today. I really hope you have a good one.